Welcome to Complex Kids, Simple Solutions, the podcast where we cut through the chaos of raising a neurodivergent and a complex kid with a practical, no-nonsense strategy. I'm Michelle Shoaidi, speaker, advocate, and a mom of a complex kid myself. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, unheard, or just plain exhausted on this journey, you are not alone. Here we tackle the real struggles head on, share actionable insights, and remind you that small wins matter. Let's dive in and make life just a little bit easier, one episode at a time. You are your child's hero. Today, we're so excited to welcome Amanda Trisdale, and she is the mother of our best teenaged autistic dancer, Leta Rundle. She is the CEO of the nonprofit dance studio that Leta founded, and it's called Autistic Wings Dance Company. Amanda is also a co-host of her daughter's podcast, Leta Tap Styles, where they discuss Autistic Wings Dance Company and Leta's budding dance career. And they do try to throw in a little humor just for fun. This is, I have to tell you how excited I am, Amanda, to have you here. We were just chatting earlier, and she is an amazing, amazing person. Welcome, Amanda.
Thanks so much. I am so excited to see this podcast bloom and grow for you, Michelle.
Oh, thank you. You know, we, about a few months ago, Amanda and I actually traded spots. She interviewed me, and it was so fun. And her enthusiasm just comes out of her and her daughter. And so I wanted to bring her on. And the reason why I wanted to do this was because just about 3 weeks ago, I had a friend of mine put a post on Facebook, and she goes, "Does anybody know where I can get extracurricular activities for my daughter? She cannot walk without a walker, and we're very limited on what we can do. So does anybody know where we can go?" And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I wish that Leta's studio was here in Orange County, California, so they could go there. So Amanda, tell us about what it is that you're doing and how this came about. So tell us your little story, please.
Well, background is probably Leta is autistic. She's obviously been autistic all of her life. She is getting a little annoyed as she's doing the podcast circuit, and everyone's like, "When did you first know you were autistic?" And she's like, "I'm not talking." She was diagnosed as nonverbal at 3, which Michelle can tell you is a funny diagnosis now with her. And we had her in all the therapies and everything. She also has a deformed right hip. It popped out of joint when she was 11 months trying to do a pirouette in our kitchen, and she fell down. She popped it out of joint. They thought they'd just see if it went back in joint. It turns out joints need help going back in. So she grew up with her hip slightly out of joint. Her PT, when she was 6, was like, "Hi, do you know her stim happens to be a complicated tap step? And you need to get her into tap dance." She was too good to go into any of the adaptive dance, but her autism was holding her back in the traditional classes because while her dancing is great, she's autistic. And while she does have the ability to speak now, some of the stuff she does, like she doesn't like looking people in the eyes. Teachers take that as disrespectful. She's stimming. Her teachers have tried to correct her stim. I'm laughing at them going, "You realize that's unconscious?" I don't know if you understand what the word unconscious means. She sometimes has silent seizures. She's gotten yelled at for having silent seizures in class. And I'm sitting there going, not trying to be mean. And they're like, "Well, it wasn't her dropping to the floor seizing." And I'm like, "That's called a grand mal."
Oh my goodness.
She finally got fed up, and she is mentored by the great Chloe Arnold, who is out of LA, who's one of the best tap choreographers of all times. And she noticed she's grown up with Chloe as a mentor. Chloe when she came on the scene, there was nothing for women to be at the front of TAP. So she created her space, and Leta went, well, I can do the same thing. And
I love it.
We created Autistic Wings Dance Company. It is the only fully autistic dance studio in the country. I love
it.
I know a lot of places go, hey, we're autistic. And then you look at the numbers and you're like, no, you're not autistic. You have like 10% autistic and 90% neurotypical. We have really small class sizes. I am capping some of our class sizes. We have kids that 1 kid per class is all they can do. Mm-hmm. We have kids that 4 kids per class is all they can do. We never go above 5 kids in a class because you need individualized attention. And we have taken the IEP and tweaked it for the dance studio. So we know more about our dancers than most traditional studios do. The hard part, I think, for me, and this goes back to what you were saying, the number of parents who call me and spend 15 minutes trying to convince me that their autistic kid is worth taking a chance on. And that if I would just see past their autism, and I'm like, it's in the name. I have a 13-year-old who gets a little snooty, and she's like, what part of Autistic Wings did you not catch, parents?
And I have met her, and she is a little spunky girl. And she's not that little. I keep thinking, but she's awesome. And I love her, like how upfront she is with people too. So, there's something to be said about that.
She is not afraid to speak her mind.
Exactly. That's why I like that girl.
But yeah, that's the background on the studio.
Amanda, so, I really, the work that you're doing and bringing these kiddos into dance, I think I mentioned this to you. I was a ballerina growing up, and I danced in college, and we did all of that, but there was no inclusion, none, ever. And even this was, a long time ago, We don't have to say how long, but there was nothing like this. And you taking this on and making it 100% autistic dance studio, honestly, girl, thank you for doing that, because I think that we need more. We definitely need more of this.
I'm hoping within the next 5 years, we will have a paper that we can publish that kind of gives people an idea of how to do this across the globe. Leta would like to see this in every city across the globe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I want to ask you something that you talked about the IEPs. And I think that the majority of the listeners knows what an IEP is, because
have a love-hate relationship with them.
Exactly. Well, some of them just know, yes, we have an IEP. Others just say, oh yeah, we have an IEP. I have no idea what it says in there. And so, but how are you taking the IEP and tweaking it to add to the dance?
That's the fun part. One, I think if we know about the IEP, depending on how many wonderful IEP meetings we've been in, we all have a love-hate relationship with them. What we're doing is we're having the parents fill out a section on everything. Leta got involved in this actually, because we need to know primary diagnosis, secondary diagnosis. Because Leta's like, you forgot to ask sensory issues, Mom. And a parent will forget a sensory issue. And she's like, I have so many. We're asking if you have sound issues, if you have light issues, all that in a separate piece of paper that the parents fill out without us. Then our staff gets together and kind of like, some of them are new to working with autistic kids, and I cannot convince the parents of that. They're like, are you kidding me? We had parents crying again yesterday on one of our teachers, and she's like, why? And I'm like, because you don't understand how much they're appreciative of what you're doing.
Oh.
But we take all that. I try to explain to our staff who are not familiar with the terms, what all these terms mean. And they're like, oh, well, we can work with that. So I just tweak my teaching style this way. We bring the parents in. We go, here's what we want to do with your child. And we break it down like skills that they need to learn for each class. The other thing is, you've been in ballet class, traditional ballet classes. They don't tell you how you're getting to the next level. They just magically pop you up to ballet too.
Yes.
We have actually pinpointed what our amazing ballet mistress figured out what you need to do to get into each level. And these are the skills you need to complete. We have that listed so we can go, here's your short-term goals. Let's pick 3 things you need to work on. Here's the medium goals, and here's the very long-term goals. We've got one 5-year-old who I am pretty sure is going to be in New York on the ballet stage at some point in her life.
That's amazing.
I keep warning her mom. I'm like, you're worried about the autism. That's not what you need to be worried about.
You got to get worried about the dance moms that you're going to be dealing with here in a few years.
Yeah. And then we break it down by class because, being in dance yourself, there's different skills you need to learn for tap than ballet.
Yes.
And we actually found a dance studio management program that will allow us to keep track of the skills the kids are doing, and it will send the parents emails as they master those skills.
Amanda, are you serious right now? You even have this is so exciting.
The idea that all these traditional studios are calling me going, how are you making this work? And I'm like, by just doing stuff you should have been doing for your traditional classes.
That is amazing. And, this week I've been in a very scientific mind because I've been talking to some people with Drake's TBR1 information, and that's Drake's genetic disorder. So now I'm looking and I'm hearing what you're saying, and the amount of data that you are probably collecting without knowing that you are collecting, or maybe you do understand that you are collecting that data.
You know me.
Yes.
There was a lot of paper research that went into this, and there still is. I went down a bunny trail last month. Someone I know in academia was like, hey, have you seen this paper from 2010 that dance is actually a language? And I'm like, send it my way.
It is a language, isn't it?
Yeah. And it was an evolutionary biologist who has no clue about SLP, speech and language pathology. And he's like, oh, yeah, so this will help your people with Parkinson's and everything, but it has to be dance classes because somehow that teaches a vocabulary, and not this is a pirouette, but your body is translating that pirouette and everything into verbs in its mind.
I want to read that paper. You got to send that to me later because I think that's amazing.
I know. I'm like, why is this not being taught over in the SLP industry?
So, it's interesting that you say that. So I think, my journey with Drake, but for the listeners who are not here, Drake didn't speak one word until he was 3.5 years old. And the one speech therapist that actually got Drake to verbalize anything and even get anything out of him, it wasn't necessarily dance because she wasn't a dance instructor, but she would take him to the gym and have him jump or roll or the physical exercises. That is what led to Drake's speech coming out. And she would, after his speech therapy, she would bring him out and she'd be all sweaty because she just worked so hard with him. And I can just picture these, dance instructors who are used to teaching your neurotypical children and coming in and helping you guys. And how did you get them to help you, Amanda?
So our one very neurotypical dance instructor, who I will not so that I don't get killed, say how long she's been doing dance instruction. Her granddaughter is on the spectrum. And she and I had met through the studio Leta was last at, and I asked if she'd come on the board as our vice president, and then she wound up being our ballet mistress, a little bit more than I'd asked her to do. And honestly, she's teaching, like, if you come into our pre-ballet class, you would not know it's for autistic kids unless you knew what you were looking for. Because it's not dumbed down.
That's
even
awesome.
Our nonverbal kids, she's not dumbing it down, which is what you usually get in adaptive dance. Instead of saying plie or pirouette, they're like, bend, this, do that. And she's just sitting there teaching them what the language is without overwhelming them. And she works. There are days she's like, okay, well, we're not going to do this. We're going to go another way. And I'm having to tell the parents, hush, sit down. Let this play out. I promise you she's not annoyed by this.
Yeah.
But she's been amazing.
Are you letting the parents come in? Is this like, or is it just the instructor and the children?
So the studio we're in right now does not have a waiting area for the parents. I'm really hoping the next studio we can put like a waiting area with video on the wall. Some parents don't need to be in the class. There are some of our kids that right now, their parents need to be right there with them, and it becomes a parent and me class so that their parents can help them out. I think we are over exercising a few of our parents who didn't realize how athletic dance is. The number of parents I see sweating as they're coming out of dance class going, that was not what I thought that would be. Even for our adult class, we've got a couple kids that come straight over from their day facility or activities, and their parents come with them and they take dance class. But that circles back to a few parents were like, oh, this is working really great. And I'm like, Michelle, you know me and how much I love my papers.
Yes.
There are like 17 papers on societal bonds and dance like this. And I'm like, so I don't know what we're doing in America, but Europe and Asia have all these papers. And we're seeing a huge thing with those parents. And it's what's best for the dancer. If the dancer needs their parent in there, parents in there. If the dancer can dance without their parent, take 300 deep breaths, sit there and let your kid fly.
Yes. And I can see how important that is too, for the independence of the child, for them to understand and feel like, you know what, I can do this. And I don't necessarily need mom and dad next to me. And also on the other side, on the other hand, is like, if they can't, they can't. So allowing for those moments of, we need them, we don't need them, like, that is the adaptability of what you're doing. And that is what makes this such an amazing thing that you're doing.
And that's what adaptive dance should be. It shouldn't be dumbing down dance. It should be adapting to what the dancer needs.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to ask you about like I understand the background on Leta and how she wanted to dance, and you kind of told us this, but how did you start bringing all these people together?
It just kind of fell into our laps once she did it. We started talking to people, and a lot of people within the dance industry wanted to be involved because they know that this is going to be historic, and you can get a lot of people involved just by this is going down in history.
Mm-hmm.
If this works, which it's going to work, I am 100% sure it's going to work. I do know my board, we have a lot of artists on the board who don't understand if we can make the IEPs work for dance the way we think we can. They're like, okay, we'll believe you that this will be historic. I'm like, imagine taking this into the school system for football or for flag or for.
This is so much bigger than you probably didn't imagine this, right? Whoa.
I don't think I did. It's been a full year now since we filed for the nonprofit status. And I knew it would be big once it started rolling. I don't think I knew how big outside of the world of autism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You said that you had that you reached out to media outlets to try to get that going, and sometimes how can I say this? It's so easy for media to go out there and find the everyday things, and sometimes it's so hard for us to reach them when it comes to inclusion and those things.
We spent a good 4 months sending press releases about things out and kept just getting crickets from the media. And finally I was like, well, I'm going to put it out there that Leta's on an international youth tap company. I'm going to put it out there that she's got her own podcast at 13. I'm going to put it out there that we're doing a dance IEP. And suddenly I had 3 of our local media outlets call us.
Love it. Love it. And now you are saying that you need to expand the studio.
We do. We've got 2 minor issues with expansion. One is we're a nonprofit. I am not charging what the other autistic, Leta would say, put that in quotation marks there, dance classes in town are charging. They're charging between $120 and $200 a month for it. Mm-hmm. Our preschool classes start at $45. It costs me a lot more than that to put them on.
I'm sure it does.
There's a reason we're nonprofit. Mm-hmm. The other thing is finding a space. But right now we're focusing on fundraising like at least a third of what it would cost to rent a month. Mm-hmm. I would love to get that up to 100%. Our fundraiser is called 350 and 365 because at the point in time I did this, I thought I had a year to grow. Obviously, that was silly, but we're looking for 350 people to donate $10 a month, which I know times are tough, but $10 is a lot easier to ask of people than, $100.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
And a lot of people giving $10 a month goes a lot further.
Yeah.
The other thing is we are looking for a huge space because, like I said, we're turning kids away and I don't want to move to a new space and then turn kids away. One of our new kids last night, his mom's like, I could get you 20 kids in this class. And I'm like, my teachers are going to kill me if I have more than 3 or 4 kids in the class. They all enjoy the small classes, let me tell you.
Yes, of course. We all moms do, and the kids do, and I'm sure the teachers, the instructors.
Yeah. But, like I was telling you, we share a space with an amazing breakdance company. They're all training for the Olympics and for Worlds and all that. We're going to move with them. They need 1 or 2 studios. We need 2 to 3 studios. So yeah, we need a huge space.
Yeah. You were talking about, turning the kids away and fundraising and being a nonprofit. So we're for sure going to put it on the notes where our listeners can go in and help and donate because, like you said, $10 a month is nothing for such an incredible work that you are doing. I just really, I keep thinking in my head, like how you guys had this vision and you made it happen, and how like amazing this is and how much bigger it's probably going to become for you guys. Can you tell me, I would love to hear not just Leta's story, because you already kind of told us a little bit about her, but like one child in the studio. Can you think of somebody that you can tell us
Oh, I can think
how
of
it's helped?
quite a few.
Okay. Well, give us one.
Let's give one. So, what, and this actually backstory, unfortunately, is for a lot of our dancers. We've got a dancer who has been turned away for being too autistic in every single autistic activity she's done. Every single autistic activity, they have told her parents she is too autistic for the autistic activity. Do not ask me to explain that, but if you're an autistic parent, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
She was overwhelming. Because a lot of these places, they have good hearts, but they don't know autism, which then don't do the autism activities. She came in. She is now, her speech has just like blossomed overnight. And her speech therapist actually reached out and went, "What are you doing?" And she's not the only one that we've had. We've got another one of the kids. He's been turned away from every single dance thing because he's too autistic. And the autistic dance stuff around here, you have to be verbal, you have to be potty trained, and it's for 3 to 6. And you know, as a mom of a complex kid, that's not happening most of the time. Yeah. He's amazing. He's great. I disagree with his therapy on whether or not he's nonverbal, because, you know, nonverbal means non-expressive, non-receptive. He's receptive, and I think he's expressive. But even his therapist reached out and was like, "He's doing a lot more with only one day. What are you guys doing over there?" Well, I don't know. We're doing voodoo magic. I don't know.
Boom, boom, boom. It's working. Really, the amount of, I remember, like, and this is for me, right? Like, just moving, getting your body moving, doing, like, it is good for the soul. It's good for your body. And who doesn't like to feel those endorphins that are actually happening, especially when you have autism, right? That's basically the input that you are seeking in a way, but you don't know how to get those endorphins, how to receive those things. And so when you put somebody in that situation, move here, move there, and they start feeling better, then out it comes.
I'm spending more time telling parents, because we've got, you know, some of the kids, this is their first thing of ever doing something structured like this, and they're running around a little bit. Fine. Take a deep breath, parents. It's going to be okay. Maybe they'll never be as structured as a traditional dance class for some of our students, but they're having fun, and that's what counts.
Of course, they're having fun, and there's nothing better than being a parent of a child that struggles and seeing them having fun, seeing them blossom in a way that you and your team are doing it for them.
But you know, as a parent, how much we're always concerned about what other people think about us and what they're thinking about our child. And I'm trying to tell the parents this is just as much of a safe space for you as it is for them.
That's what I was just going to ask you. How has the community grown with the parents?
The community is starting to get there. I think we definitely need a lounge for the parents to be able to sit and talk in, because it's hard to talk while the kids are having dance classes.
Yes, for sure.
But, you know, there's those of us who've been around the block for a long time, especially when you've got, you know, parents of high schoolers, parents of adult autistic kids. We're starting to see some of our, you know, I hate using higher level, but higher levels understood by most of the general public. Higher level ASD people come in and dance with us. And it is giving hope to those other parents who, you know, are just starting their journey, and they're like, "Oh my God, my child is so different, and everyone's judging me. My parents are judging me. My siblings are judging me. My friendship group is judging me." I know I'm preaching to the choir on that one for most of your listeners, probably.
Yes. I think that we all go through that, right? If you have a complex kid, you have felt that at some point in your life. And if you have not, You've been hiding under a rock and you need to get out of the rock. So
I think I was one of the few that very quickly was like, wait, I have autism too. Yes, everyone. I'm tired of you judging me. I'm tired of you judging my kid. But, I have so many parents that they're sitting there, oh, I'm so sorry my kid's acting autistic. 500 deep breaths.
Yep. It's going to be okay.
And we're not going to judge you here that they're acting autistic.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about what other people are saying. Or, I remember Drake had an awful, awful meltdown one time, to the point of like, he was kicking the car. He was trying to destroy the car. He was, like he just, and this was like his way of saying, I don't want to go to swimming. And so, and I had so many people gather around the car and watching that happen, and the amount of judgment that I felt coming. And I don't even think that they were there actually judging. I think they were probably just watching or trying to figure out, can I help? Can I not help? Should I intervene? Should I not? And I think that is, the maybe we are just so hypersensitive sometimes too, to feel like we are being judged because we are judging ourselves. And, that is one thing that you're going to have as a parent of a complex kid. You're going to have to learn how to let that go and remember that you are doing the best that you can for your child. Right, Amanda?
Oh, definitely. And like I said, I think I need to change our tagline, because it's like a place where autistic people can be a safe space. Autistic people can be themselves, quirks and all. I think I need to add, and parents can just relax.
I love it. I love that. I love that. And really, Amanda, this is, and I know you're going to do this. I know you're going to get a bigger studio. And I just cannot wait to see how the community is actually going to grow, and how this is going to bring peace and a safe place for the parents to talk about their kids, to, without having to pay somebody to go to a psychologist to talk about your child. You're going to talk to parents who understand you, who welcome you.
And have been there before, because I know we've had a couple. You work with IEPs. I work with IEPs. We all have a love-hate relationship. I've had a couple parents come in, and I'm talking about their school IEPs, and they're like, I didn't get a copy of it. The school wouldn't give me a copy. Okay, deep breaths on my side. Can I please have the administrator's name?
How can I draft an email for you to send?
You can't. It's probably better than the one I have on my other professional side, which I have tried to get my assistant to undraft it because it may have a few curse words. And she's like, nope, that's fine. You have to.
Yes. If you don't have it, this is not okay. Not okay.
No, and they're like, no, they said I got to look at it in the meeting and then I don't get a copy of it. And I'm like, okay, you get a copy of everything. You need to take it home, read the thing, and then sign it.
Yes. Don't just sign it. Well, yeah. No, go ahead, Amanda. Go ahead.
That's something you only learn if the parents have a support group around them who've gone through this and know.
If you don't, it just gets given to you, right? This is what you're going to get. And that's kind of what we do here on my end. And that's what I was going to say. Like, we do have those forms for, the emails that are partly drafted for the parents. We do give those things at Wisdom for Complex Kids. We have that we can help the parents in that way. But also, we are trying to build that community just how you are. So if there's anything that we can do on our end for your parents, Amanda, like to take, you are doing so much on one end, and this is kind of sharing the load, and helping the community. So whatever it is that we can do on our end, we would love to help out. But for our listeners, what do you want them to know? That your last thought of the conversation that we're having, what do you want them to leave here knowing and listening to you?
It's going to sound weird, but quit judging yourself and quit holding your child up and judging them against every other kid. They're unique. They would be unique even if they were quote unquote neurotypical. They're perfect. Just quit letting, and I know it's hard, quit letting the world tell you that you should be judging yourself and judging your kid.
Oh, I love that. Quit the judgment. I'm going to put hashtag quit judging.
We might need to start that trending.
Yes, we will. We will. Thank you so much, Amanda, for being here. It's been great talking to you.
Thanks, Michelle.
We'll see you.
See ya.
Okay, bye-bye. That's it for today's episode of Complex Kids Simple Solutions. If you found this helpful, please be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our future episodes. And if you're looking for more support, join our Thrive group on Facebook, where we dive deeper and connect with other parents. For more information, be sure to visit www.wisdom4complexkids.com, or you can also reach me at www.michelleshoaidi.com. Remember, you are doing an amazing job. Take it one step at a time, and I will see you next time. You are your child's hero.